Hi guys, my name is Yashwant. I'm here to discuss about the project that is an electronic fence for unmanned military control terrains using IoT. Dear teammates over here, my teammate Akhilesh, Harshit, and me, Charan and Uday. Basically, getting into the topic, here is the outline of the topic. There's an introduction. We're going to discuss the importance, the problem statement, objectives, related work, that is national and international status, the design model. It contains the block diagrams and the algorithms, flowcharts, and the requirements for the project, and the functional components and the GUI design, and schematic diagram and invention details. Here's the implementation. Now, getting into the introduction. Basically, the topic is you're gonna be in an area. In that area, if any intruder comes into the area, we're gonna get a message alert. That is here. What is that for here? See, an area that makes count to the national security general prohibited from intruders. So it is important to have a well-designed protective system over the private area. This can be achieved using IoT. And now to protect these are the importance of the application we're gonna do. That is to protect the private zone and to get low the graph of the intruders from the nation's wealth. And when someone crosses, a message will be sent to the authorized system. And here's some of the pictures of how the fencing will be. The basic problem statement is nothing but we're going to develop a security system which will be secure in a high-tech manner. Like nowadays, security is in many manners. Like when we enter, you get some kind of shock or other things. But in this manner, we're going to use some IoT techniques. Like when someone enters into the system, we're going to get a message alert, and we can easily observe him wherever we are.
This is Sharan. Now I'm going to tell about the objectives of the project. The objectives are to know the importance of those prohibited zones to be protected. Means the military fence are to be protected. To make a clear layout of doing a fencing system to private areas. To implement the plan and prepare a fencing over the prohibited zone. To make the system procedure when fence is broken.
Hi guys, my name is Uday Reddy. My registration number is 16B0399. I am going to explain about the design model of my project. If any intruder comes into the fencing, the message that comes to our phone. So that's the main objective of our project. Here is our model. It consists of an intrusion detection unit and open hardware microcontroller, power unit, and user owner control panel and GSM modem. This in this block diagram how it shows how it is connected to each other. Now I am going to explain about the list of hardware components. GSM module in which we kept our SIM into that. This is called GSM module. That PIR sensor, this is a sensor in which it is a PIR sensor. If any intruder enters into that zone, this sensor becomes active. Then this Arduino Uno, which is connected to the GSM module, and the Arduino is connected to the laptop, and where we run our code. And SIM adapter, which is connected to the power supplies, cables. Description of hardware components will be explained by Akhilesh. Okay. The description of hardware components is Arduino Uno is a microcontroller that is used to connect the hardware components and the software code. Here is our reference from where we got this information. And now this is the model Arduino Uno vendor. The module 143 and the price is 450 rupees. Specifications: it has 14 digital input and output, 6 analog inputs, and 16 MZ ceramic resonator, a USB connection, and power jack. And This is the seismometer. It contains module JSM module. This is called JSM module. It's the same vendor of the before Arduino. The price is somewhat cost. It is 775 rupees. Specification: GPRS module is a breakout board on minimum system of SIM 900 quad band SIM 900A dual band JSM GPRS module. It can communicate the controllers via 18 commands. List of softwares. The software we used in this project are software's names are version Arduino IDE description. The software used to code Arduino. These are reference from where we got this information. Functional models will be explained by our friend Akhilesh.
I guess I'll tell about the functional. I'll discuss about the functioning models. There is a sensing module, the PIR sensor, which is used to sense, and the GSM module, which is used to send the messages. And this is the GUI design, this is the Arduino board, which you can see over there. The SIM 900A or 800A, whatever may be the GSM module or GPRS module that you use, which is shown over here. And this is the power supply and the sensor. All the things are shown here in the GUI design. And these are the GUI design, security alarm system, which we are going to show to protect an unmanned area, as before told by our friends. And this is the schematic diagram, not a schematic diagram, it is the basic picture of the system. This is the this is the sensing module, the PIR sensor which we use, the Arduino board, and this is the GSM module which is used to send the messages. This is used to sense things, the PIR module, and Arduino acts as an interface or the medium between these two, connecting these two, and produce a message whenever an intruder is present. And these are the invention details. Invention details is basically about how does this work and how are we in a position to explain this thing, or what are the process that takes place in this. So the basic components are Arduino, GSM, and the PIR sensor, which are already told. The sensor is used to sense, and the GSM module is to send a message, and Arduino is an interface of microcontroller which controls both the GSM and the PIR sensor. Basically, coming to the working of a PIR sensor. A PIR sensor is that which senses depending upon the infrared radiation difference. Like whenever there is an intruder, this can be the sensor which we are using has a maximum extent of 20 feet. So it can measure any change of variation in the temperature between 0 to 20 feet. So whenever a human or an animal or any other intruder comes into that situation or that area which is prohibited from entering, so there will be a change in the temperature, the basic temperature, and whenever you get there are the infrared radiations, like you get a variation in the graph, like the sensor basically gets to know that there is a difference in the plotting system, like from this point there is some change, like the basic temperature will be at a constant level, and one comes the graph will be altered. So depending on that, it checks whether there is a presence or there is a mark of any presence of an intruder or a system or a human or anything else in that zone. So the Arduino is a microcontroller. Basically we know about the 14 pins which are there, and it is connected to both the PIR and GSM, and the software code using the software Arduino IDE is coded and is installed into the Arduino board. So whenever there is a sensor, it works and accordingly sends a message to us that there is an intruder. So this is the basic thing. And the GSM module has an allotment for the SIM, so it has a slot for the SIM to keep into that. So whenever you keep a SIM into that, it works as the basic SIM through which the messages are sent. And we need to, in the code we give the registered numbers, like with this particular number or to this particular register number we are supposed to send a message. So whenever whenever the sensor senses a thing, the GSM is alerted by the Arduino and a message is sent. This is the basic thing. And then coming to the about the joining or the wiring in this system, the TX pin of the Arduino board is connected to the RX pin of the GSM. Like basically Arduino has two pins, digital pins, TX and the RX, which has two values 0 and 1. They both are the digital pins available in the Arduino board. So RX is meant for receive and TX is meant for transmit. So it transmits a signal or receives a signal, which are shown by that, like transmitting or receiving, all those things are shown by those two digital pins for us. So the RX of the GSM module is connected to the TX of Arduino, and the TX of GSM module is connected to the RX of the Arduino. So in this way, we connect both the Arduino and GSM. The communication between them goes on like that. So the RX sends a message, and the TX over there in the GSM module gets it. So R sends for receive and T sends for transmit, right? Whenever the Arduino transmits a message to using TX, the RX receives a message, and when GSM transmits a message using TX, the RX and the Arduino gets a message. So the system is balanced using these two, and the PIR sensor is connected to pin 2 in the Arduino. GSM is connected to pin 10 and 11, like the ground of the GSM is connected to the ground of the Arduino, and the GX and the TX pins, which are connected as told above. And the power supply is given using an adapter, like you have a basic adapter which you get connected to the Arduino or the GSM, because both of them have the slots for getting a power supply. So using that, you give them a power supply. And the PIR sensor detects on the temperature change, as it is previously told about the infrared radiation. That is what the temperature and the IR both means the same logic behind them. Also the Arduino code, we define an Arduino code, and I'll even explain you the Arduino code and how is it done. And therefore, like whenever the PIR sensor detects the presence of that, it shows that there is someone or something intruding into the zone, and you get an alert message that the intruder has been detected, or whatever you save the message to it. This is a working example. Like these are the connections between, you see that those are the pins, 14 pins over there in the Arduino board, and the GSM module, that is the PIR sensor at the left end. A GSM module is there. It's a 900A basically. We use this 800A GSM module because it allows all kind of bandwidth to transmit a message. Like you can transmit in any zone. Like in the world, different zone uses different bandwidth for transmission of the messages. Like in India, we use 900 MHz bandwidth, and the US it's 850, and in Canada it's 1600. So as we are in India, we can use any other GSM which supports this bandwidth, but we use this GSM module because it supports all kind of, like all other bandwidths. So you can use this system anywhere in the world without any making any change to the system. And like whenever there is it is detected to a sense like something is present over there, and you can see a small wire over there which is like an extension to the Arduino, but that is the power supply. Adapter is connected to the power source, and like in this way you get an output like intruder has been detected, like for the register number, that number has been registered at that particular time. So whenever it has sensed about that, this is a screenshot of that output, and this is a basic demo video, which is just a screenshot of the video has been placed over here. And these are the links for the demo videos, and I also explain you about the code in the next video.